TJR Terrence Reardon. How's it going, eh? Yeah, a little Bob and Doug McKenzie humor thrown in for you. Plugging TJR's Classic Rock Corner podcast. I'm very surprised and flattered that the Led Zeppelin episode did very well in its first week. 200 plus plays. Not bad at all. Not bad considering it was an old episode from my vault, which I had to update, retool, re edit, and bring things up to speed. If anyone's watching, great. If not, so be it. Anyway, what's next? Well, right now I'm in the middle of editing the audio of the episode that I've been meaning to air for the last 3 years, but had been sitting in the vault collecting dust. But I was like, you know what? I'll finally do this band because I've been meaning to do it for a long time, and I've been meaning to get that band off my chest and get them done. And there'll be more episodes in the band called Aerosmith. Yeah, local boys up here in the good old Bay State, aka Massachusetts, my native home turf. Yeah, the old home turf of the TJR, the Classic Rock Corner, my friends. And just like my friends JCM Led Zeppelin stories and Michael Borland of the Bottom Line, I do this and they're proud of me. They're big supporters of mine and the fact that I'm doing this and the fact that I finally broken free from albatrosses, namely RMCP, which was my past. Yes, I can talk about them in past, and I'm not knocking what I did with them because I had a lot of good times with them in the old days, all those years ago, as in 11 years ago. Hard to believe, but what can you do? But yeah, I'm finally getting an Aerosmith episode done on my own called On Toys in the Attic. I think I did that in Rocks with Mark Alden Taylor on Terrence and Mark, but I think I lost the audio somewhere along the way. Probably in one of my infamous meltdowns, I forget. But yeah, I had the audio re recording completed. It's finally being edited, finally being mixed. Visuals going to be put together in the next few days. And I should have up in a few days' time. And then I have to go edit. Yeah, another editing of Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms. I have to go in and re-edit some more of that and re-record portions because that album just turned 40. Hard to believe we're getting old. I remember when Brothers in Arms was brand spanking new, and I acquired it just before the album hit the pole position on the Billboard album chart. I was 9 years old back in '85, but yeah, I was always a rock and roller from the time I was about that big. Seriously. Now, what am I talking about, Jimmy? It's 12:43 a.m. for me right now. Also, rock music, Jimmy. Classic rock. This is what's called Classic Rock Corner. I'm plugging my show. That's what I'm doing. Let people know what the hell's going on. I haven't disappeared again. Yeah, I have an episode on Aerosmith's Toys in the Attic. It's going to be airing next. I just got to put the visuals together. I just finished putting the audio together and putting the music behind my voice so I don't get busted for copyright infringement. Oh my God, Kinley. I'm not a psychiatrist, dude. You need to see a shrink. Maybe they can help if you got cheated on. You know, there's good women out there and there's bad women out there. You just got to find the good ones, man. And I always found myself some good ones, but unfortunately I chickened out before I had a chance to ask them out. Because I had my heart broken in high school countless times, so I had no choice. Josh B., how's it going, eh? Good to see you on the TJR Classic Rock Corner thing. Jordan Ackman, how's it going, eh? Oh, good. Beauty. Subscribe. Keep going, eh? Now I'm taking PayPal donations, Patreon donations, trying to get the name of the show big. Bigger than big. I want to get bigger than big. I already said hello. How's it going, Jordan? How's it going, eh? That's Bob and Doug McKenzie jargon. As I was saying, I had episodes in the can right now. I'm doing the Toys in the Attic episode that I had recorded for 3 years in the making. Oh my goodness! I mean, try doing an episode and recording for having it sit in your vault for 3 years, and then having to edit out as many profanities as possible, and trying to sync everything, trying to make sure the episode is not too short. I don't like short hour episodes. Most people do, 5-minute interview. Me, I dissect the album, talk about it, the songs, why I love them so much, the different instrumentations, excuse me, kind of a little history lesson. And yeah, I had to use from other sources other than Wikipedia, as Michael Borland at the bottom line says. I say Wikipedia now because that site stinks. I mean, any jerk, any jabroni can edit that site, and you can get, and some moron can write something and you believe it. Oh, which way they go? Oh my goodness! So I have to use other means of research, like Jordan Ackman. I've already said hello. Is there anybody in there? Just not if you can hear me, Jordan. Is there anyone home? Are you a robot? Are you a human being? Are you Mr. Roboto? Are you AI? No AI allowed. I've already said hello. Good, you're a real human being. Thank goodness. If you were AI, I'd be pissed off right now. But luckily I'm not. But yeah, anyway, I'm doing the Aerosmith episode, getting that finished. Took me 3 years to do that. I mean, I had it recorded, but for some reason sat on it for a number of years. Oh, thank goodness you're not AI. I'd be pissed off if you were AI. But yeah, the Toys in the Attic episode is almost finished. Finally, after 3 years of delays and research issues and various other scenarios that one has to deal with either way. I also got episodes coming soon from Dire Straits on the Brothers in Arms album, the 40th anniversary of that. Yeah, it's an old Terrence Reardon and Friends episode, but I had to redo the intro, re-record bits and pieces, take out as many profanities as possible, and bring things up to speed with the 40th anniversary re-release. So I got sidetracked. Taking a lot of my old episodes and either re-editing them or re-recording them or doing a combo of both. And I'm also doing new episodes all at the same time. It's just I have to find time to record new ones because I have an 80-year-old father I have to take care of. Once you have an elderly parent, you have to put your father as top priority, especially when he's a senior citizen. Who would have thunk that? But what's going on in the world. And yeah, on my episode, I do go in a little preaching off the pulpit segment where I talk about the whole Bruce Springsteen fiasco of alienating half of his fan base who happened to vote for a guy he didn't like. So be it. I'm like, sheesh. Whatever happened to, having fans of both sides of the political fence? You're like, well, I better not upset half my audience because you may be, the way I see it, left wing artists who say this, they don't walk the walk. They don't walk the walk. They talk, but they don't give the actions because all they want is money and even more money. And to quote from the movie "The People Under the Stairs," that grandfather in the movie, to Fool's grandfather in that movie, the more money they got, the greedier they got. The greedier they got, the crazier they got. That's what happens. The guys got greedier and greedier and greedier, and they got crazier and crazier. I mean, as the great Dennis DeYoung of Styx, the founding member, mastermind of that band, once said, getting political is a surefire way to alienate half of your audience. And for people to think, on the left thinking Republicans never had a great idea, and then the people on the right saying, oh, the Democrats never had a great idea. That's, pardon my language, a bunch of bullshit. Because both political parties had wonderful ideas, and when they worked together, we had this great country called the United States of America. And the fact that I'm doing this, these episodes, and also talk about the death of Simon House, who was the violinist for Hawkwind. He also played, yeah, he was the violinist in Hawkwind when Lemmy of Motorhead was in the band. That was the only time Hawkwind really mattered, was when they had the Lemmeister, Mr. Ace of Spades, and the Iron Fist. Lemmy, the man that defined rock and roll. God bless him. May he lay in peace. And he also played with David Bowie. Simon House. He was the violinist on the Ice Solar 2 tour, which I inadvertently said Ice Solar tour, because there was two Ice Solar tours, the Station to Station tour, and then the tour in support of Low and Heroes in 1978, which gave us not one, but two live albums. 1978 Stage and 2018's From the Vault release, Welcome to the Blackout Live in London 1978, which is, yes, my favorite David Bowie live album. Yeah, I like it better than Stage. I like it better than any of the other live albums. It's because it's the best of Low and Heroes and Ziggy Stardust and Station to Station, with a couple of highlights from Aladdin Sane and Diamond Dogs and other albums thrown in. But my goodness, if you don't own Welcome to the Blackout, I urge you to check that album out because that album is a masterpiece. And I also talk about the passing of Rick Derringer. May he too lay in peace. Phenomenal guitarist. I mean, the McCoys hang on Sloopy. Edgar Winter Group he played with. He also was the opening act for Led Zeppelin on their final ever North American show in 1977, the infamous Day on the Green gigs, which ended in disaster for Zeppelin, and Judas Priest was also an opening act. And Rick Derringer was a great session player who played with Steely Dan and many others. And yeah, he played on Bonnie Tyler's comeback album, Faster Than the Speed of Night, did the soaring guitar solos on Kiss's Exciter on Lick It Up. That's not Vinnie Vincent, that's actually Rick Derringer. He should have joined Kiss. Oh yeah, they probably would have had to pay him more money. I think in hindsight, they should have stuck with Rick Derringer instead of Vinnie Vincent, because Exciter is a killer track on Lick It Up. One of the best songs in the album. And let's see. Yeah, I play guitar, which was a great 80s track he had. Unfortunately, radio didn't play it, but MTV played the piss out of it. I remember just seeing that on MTV as a kid. God, I sound like an old bastard, don't I? And the theme, and then theme songs for two wrestling stables in the World Wrestling Federation, now known as WWE, but back then it was WWF, World Wrestling Federation. The Demolition theme, Here Comes the Axe, Here Comes the Smash, that tune. And he also did the theme for One Hulk Hogan, Real American, which for many years he would come out to that and be cheered like a gladiator, like a gladiator welcome home hero, or as Jesse the Body Ventura called him, Luster Hogan. How could anyone hate the Hulkster? So what if he supports Orange Man Bad? So what? Hogan, although my favorite Hogan theme song is Voodoo Child, which he used for a year in WWE after he left the NWO. And yeah, that was the Hollywood Hogan, the hybrid red and yellow version of NWO and classic Hulkamania to create Hollywood Hogan WWE version with the red and yellow and Jimi Hendrix. And the first time he came out to that, the crowd just went completely insane. That was on SmackDown in April 2002, and Triple H had to break character and just smile because Triple H was playing a babyface character at the time. He's like, as far as Hogan goes, wow, wow, wow. And he's like, there's my Hulkster, dude. Yeah, there's the Hulk that I love and respect. Well, you know something, Triple H, brother? I'm looking forward to fighting you at Backlash, brother. Brother. You got yourself a match, man. And The Undertaker better not interfere in our actions, or we're gonna have to kick his ass. You got a deal, dude. My imitation of Triple H and Hulk Hogan, folks. Yeah. Classic wrestling fan I am. Rick Derringer, may he lay in peace. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. A lot going on with yours truly. I mean, if you got anything to ask me rock and roll, classic rock related, I'm more than welcome to. I'm doing a short live video just to let people know that I'm trying to get the show off the ground even more and take it to even greater heights. I'm already at almost 10,000 plays of my episodes, plus my live feeds, so it's a lot of self-promotion here. And now I'm taking donations on PayPal, Patreon, not for asking for your money, but to help build the show because I have to buy eventually new voice recorders, more equipment. It costs a lot, maintaining the websites, the YouTube channel, which I have to pay a monthly fee for, and the audio Buzzsprout account, which is where it's a lot of hard work. So I'm taking donations from a cup of coffee. I don't know how to handle that, but I put it towards the show. I mean, I've been doing it for years and getting better at it as time wears on. I mean, what else is going on in the world of music? Yeah, I got the episodes almost completed on Aerosmith, the Dire Straits episode, Little River Band, First Under the Wire. I gotta finish that one. Yeah, I got the everything complete, but then the intro I sat on for a number of weeks. I think I should air that intro as is because it was my tribute to John Sykes, who passed away earlier in the year, but I was distracted by being sick. That's why I didn't air it at the time. But hey, better late than never. A lot going on. Eventually, I'm gonna start working on a Def Leppard episode. Yeah, I'll be talking about the mighty Def Leppard. Probably going towards Pyromania. I know people want Hysteria, but I'll wait for Hysteria somewhere down the line. But Pyromania, what the hell? And I see viewers are dropping, but I'll keep going for a few more minutes unless more people show up because right now I'm starting to get a little fatigued. I know it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, but you got people on the West Coast where it's 9:57 p.m. Mountain Time Zone, 10:57, and then the Central it's 11:57. Depends on where you are. And then you have people across the pond where it's 6 o'clock in the morning now in England. Australia, who knows what time it is. In Hawaii, it's I believe it's I'm trying to think. 7 p.m. or almost 8 o'clock in Hawaii. Man, oh man, so many time zones. If I'm asleep, someone's awake. And if oh boy, sorry. A little tired. Had a long day. But I didn't think this show would be successful. I mean, I've had to rebuild everything from the ground up. But once I changed the name and started the new channel, things have been going upwards. And eventually I might even do some episodes on I plan on doing Iron Maiden at some point. I plan on doing another Supertramp episode, which oh yeah, it reminds me, I got the famous last words recording all recorded, but I just gotta edit it and mix it and all that fun jazz. I had something stuck in my back. Um Sticks, Cornerstone I gotta finish. I might even put that on the shelf and go for Kilroy was here. Why not? And dispel a lot of myths and crap that JY and Tommy were saying about that album because I got the proof that they actually enjoyed making the album at the time of its release, but then because of Tommy Shaw's drug problem, he went sour on it. Whereas Dennis DeYoung's opinion on that album has never really changed. And there's a great story to tell with that album. And also talk about its offshoot live album, Caught in the Act. So when I do albums which have a live album that is released in wake of said album, I talk about that live album as well. So I give it two for the price of one. So you get the album of the topic, which is the main topic, and then its offshoot live album as a bonus, which I did with Exit Stage Left. Because when I did the Moving Pictures episode, I had to talk about Exit Stage Left because I just couldn't do Moving Pictures. It's too short. I want everything to be like an hour and a half to 2 hours long. That's how I like to have my episodes. Lengthy and not bore people, but give people a little insight into the songs, how they were recorded, my opinion, read the lyrics, which is something I love to do. And I use genius.com because it actually has some of the write-ups which you won't find on Wikipedia. And then Classic Rock Magazine online. They have things in those interviews that are not mentioned in Wikipedia either. And in the studio with Redbeard. And various radio documentaries. Westwood One, Rockline, etc., etc., etc. So much to cover. Like I said, it's been a while since I did a Supertramp episode. 2 years to be precise. 2 years since Supertramp. Almost 2 years since I've done a Styx episode. I'll do a Queen episode, another one. It's another from the vault, but some things I can add to it to bring it up to date, which would be the game from Queen, because that album turns a good 45 in a month. ACDC, I'm a little hesitant about airing any ACDC episodes because their managers are a bunch of ball busters. They're a bunch of pricks. You think Don Henley was bad? ACDC's worse. They'll ban your video. That's why I'm kind of reluctant to do an album of theirs. I mean, Queen, I had no problem. Rush, no problem. Pink Floyd, no problem. Even the Eagles, I've managed to eke by because I have the album playing at such a low volume as I'm talking about it, and whatever footage I can find playing at a very microscopic speed that I can what's the word I'm looking for? Outsmart the powers that be. Because if I just upload the video, you know, what else am I going to use for footage? So I'm like, okay, I can use bits and pieces of this video here, slow it down to like microscopic speed, excuse me, like snail speed, and find more photos from the time period, include that. And I got that idea from my old show. My old show, which was Rock Metal Combat. Because when we used to do those visual versions of the podcast, my old colleague, Dr. I cannot utter his name, he used to show footage of the band we were talking about, from the time frame and, visual footage, all that fun stuff. And I kind of nicked that idea, nicked the idea from him and not steal really, but kind of, when I did the modified visual versions, I was like, I got to give the shows a proper ending rather than just end abruptly because I don't like things ending abruptly. I like to, say the show was written, produced, et cetera, do a credits thing because that's how a show should end with a classy thing. I'm like, that sounds like amateur hour. I want to be more professional. I mean, I wouldn't go to Rock and Pod anyway because it's mostly has-beens trying to find and score the big fish, but unfortunately, many of the big fish are starting to die out. Sadly, strange as this sounds. But yeah, it's one of the. Oh boy, I'm yawning. I apologize, folks. I'm just a little tired. And trying to do these videos, trying to do these episodes, a lot of hard work. Boston, I got to do them. Sheesh. I think I still got the Alice Cooper episodes I've recorded. If not, I'll have to re-record them. So what? Deep Purple. I know I got to do a Deep Purple episode. Let's see. Deep Purple. I got to do them. Judas Priest. Yeah. White Snake. Yeah. I could do a best of the early White Snake episode and talk about some of the early albums. So what if they didn't sell, but I think they were great albums anyway. Like Ready and Willin', Come and Get It, Trouble, which sadly did not chart here in the States. And yeah, and I'll basically explain that they were initially a Deep Purple spinoff. Oh boy. Because David Coverdale was initially the lead singer of, he was the third lead singer of Deep Purple after Rod Evans and Ian Gillan. David Coverdale was the third lead singer. Glenn Hughes, I guess you could construe as fourth lead singer, or 3B, because David Coverdale was 3A. Yeah, I preferred Coverdale's baritone to Glenn Hughes's testicle scrunched shrieking. And then Jolyn Turner was lead singer C, or lead singer number 4. Folks, I'm very fatigued. I mean, doing this live video, very brief, but figured, And yeah, forgive me. And no, I'm not Joe Bloody Biden either. I'm like, you know. Doing these live videos, not an easy thing to do. But I'm doing them anyway. I gotta do a Rolling Stones episode. I mean, I could air, my Tattoo You episode, which is an old episode from 2021, I think. But yeah, I haven't have to re-edit parts of it and then re-record more parts of it. And but I'll just start fresh with Emotional Rescue, because that album again celebrates a birthday, A, and B, it's seen as the black sheep between the album that came before it and the album that came after. Some Girls and Tattoo You, respectively. And yeah, and many of the songs on Emotional Rescue had its birth during the Some Girls period. So it's like the black sheep of that Ronwood era trilogy. Some Girls, Emotional Rescue, Tattoo You. Undercover. Actually, those four albums, top to bottom, in my mind, are excellent. I know some people don't like Undercover, but they don't make a difference because it's up to the fans' ears to say if it's good or if it's crap. I'm sorry, I'm yawning. I apologize. Well, I guess because I'm starting to get a little fatigued and tired, I'm going to have to curtail this live feed early. I apologize because I'm half asleep. It's been a long day. But I'll be back in a few days with the Toys in the Attic episode all finished, A and B. Hopefully a live feed where I'm not yawning and wanting to climb into bed. I apologize for yawning. I apologize if it's very short. But you all rule, you all kick ass, and I'll see you on the next live feed. Sayonara.